Start again, hang on. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's really silly because that was like 10 minutes of wasted fucking time. Anyway, it seems to me that the thing's working now. So I'm just going to rabbit on and see how we go with it now as we move forward. So my intro that was supposed to be done before this shit turned in is coming in right now. So what I'd like to do just quickly is to say thank you for tuning in and putting through the delay until I got something up on the screen. Move forward if you don't want to watch this, and if you're going to be offended, because I don't think anything's going to offend you today, except for maybe one word. If that does, then I don't give a shit. You know, my whole don't give a rat's ass. Again, what I want to say just really quickly is a huge thanks for you for tuning in and staying. And if you like, can you just do the thumbs up? It just helps. I only get a few every time people watch a video, but I mean, you may watch it, you may not like it. Do a thumbs down, a thumbs up. I don't care. Any advertising is good advertising. So if you were to not like what I say, just do a thumbs down. That would be really cool. Just interact. It's like a conversation. If you get any value, then a thumbs up. If you get no value, do a thumbs down. Like, I don't care either way, but it creates an interaction, and that's what I really like to see. So thumbs up, please, if you can do me a huge favor. So quickly today, I want to talk about Christmas Day here on the Gold Coast. It was a fantastic day, a little bit of rain, I think. And I don't know what time it was just dusk. There was a beautiful light show over the back mountain here, and it was just like always on. It was just so intense. And then, I don't know how long, the sun said, listen to that, here it comes. And there was just a whirl of wind, and it was like an engine running. It was fantastic. And it reminded me so much of a tornado that went through Brisbane in 1972, 73. It was loud, and the wind was horizontal. The rain was horizontal. So I've got a little video here I want to share with you. If I can work out how to do that. That one. Go here, and go that one. Right, so this little video here, this is the wind at a point in the storm that hit the Gold Coast, the tornado. Apparently it was graded to a couple of days later. Have a look at this. Just beautiful lightning, just really entertaining, but you can't hear the sound. I'll put it on, but it'll deafen you. It's just amazing, isn't it? The power of nature. Yeah, so listening to that and watching that, it just made me, I don't know how to put it, so respectful. I was in absolute awe of what nature is and what nature does. And I'll show you some pictures in a minute too of the destruction and actually how it worked. And I'm not going down any crap conspiracy theories about Chinese lasers targeting that particular tree or this particular state, because I think that's, whatever. But what it is that the power of nature is just, I don't know how it's, I was a little bit terrified, but not terrified, that's probably the wrong word. I wasn't at all terrified. I was so excited of the process. I was so excited to see everything that was actually happening and what happened afterwards. The way people reacted, the help that people did. My boy and I, we went walking through the neighbourhood on the night to see if everyone was okay, and everybody was coming out to help. Some people had nothing touched, and some people had a lot of things, a lot of damage, and everybody was coming together and helping each other under the disaster mindset, I guess. But the part of that is the power of nature and what nature did. So I'm just going to quickly show you a few other pictures, then we'll move on. If you look at this picture here, you can have a look at this tree was a 70, 80-foot tree, and this is the front yard of the property we're on. The tree just fell over, and the root system just went with it. And you saw a lot of that with the way this wind and the way the tornado worked. It just dropped the tree. Now, just next to that tree, there's another tree, not this one. No, not this one, but another one just down here, and that snapped off at the root. Now we can see if I can have that. Oh, this was just a javelin, just went flying through and completely just went straight through the roof of the shed. And you think about that being a javelin flying through the air and piercing anything, it's actually pretty scary. So there's the tree I was saying that it snapped off right at the base. And just here is the tree that fell over and took the roots out with it. So maybe it's a type of tree, I'm not so sure what the type of tree is, but this is a ghost gum we call in Australia, and they're also known as widow makers because they drop limbs on a regular basis. But it snapped off right there. It was absolutely amazing. There's another example of how the wind didn't affect all the trees around this particular tree, but what it did was just snap that off like a matchstick. It was just absolutely mind-blowing, the way it can create all that damage and do that sort of stuff in such a way. So I guess what I'm trying to say for me is I watched a documentary many years ago, and I finally found it again a couple of weeks ago actually, and called Aftermath, and it was life on Earth after humans. And it was sort of like if all of a sudden humans vanished, like all gone, and all the other animals and wildlife stayed, how long would it take for nature to come back? And I think, generally speaking, I think it was around about 200 years, and there'd be very little showing of any suburban area in any city in the world. Some of the main structures, maybe the Eiffel Tower, might have some of that, but it would have rusted out because no one's maintaining it. I think the last structure to survive would have been the Hoover Dam, and that was because it's just so bloody huge, you know. But anyway, the nature thing for me is so good that you go, well, watching that tornado that hit the Gold Coast on Christmas Day really reinforced to me the insignificance of humankind. And at any given time, this, to me, that was a message, a calling or a sounding for us to realize, you know, at any time, if nature wants this planet back, she's going to take it. Like Mother Nature, Gaia, and the energy of Gaia and Gus being God, universe, spirit, source. It's easier to say Gus because I don't know what you follow and what you believe, whether it be a God or the universe or the spirit or the source or whatever. I'm going to call it Gus because it brings it all together. So that relation between Gus and Gaia is just there all of the time, you know. And what Christmas Day showed me was we are insignificant on this planet, and what we believe we're doing with global warming is insignificant. All the stuff we're putting in, the waste, the stuff going into the ground, we worry so much about that. But really, after living through a storm like that, there wasn't a lot of death. There was some, and that's tragic. And I mean that in the sense of tragic. But generally speaking, it just showed us that everything is temporary. Everything, you know. One thing that isn't temporary at this point is Mother Nature, and our beliefs that we, as insignificant as we are, can impact Mother Nature is really arrogant on our part. To me, that's the same mindset as thinking we're the only people living on in this whole universe and all the multi-universes that are out there. To think we're the only beings is really bloody arrogant. I think the mindset of us in our insignificance can have anything to do to stop and destroy the power of nature. And Gus is like, just don't be stupid. So be respectful, of course. Like, don't go out there and punch someone in the face and not expect them to punch you back. And I think that's part of what's happening with Mother Nature as it goes through its stuff. It's just letting us know, hey, you know, you've punched around a little bit, and you're having a bit of a time with it, but you know, here's a message. Just remember that I can take you anytime I want, and we need to be really mindful of that. So, in saying that, I don't think we need to be an alarmist about global warming or catastrophes and disasters. We just need to be respectful of Gaia, Mother Nature. So I'll move on from that, but that was just my feeling of the storm. They're predicting more. There's stuff going around there about geostorms and weather war and all this sort of stuff. And I'm not going to entertain that because the storms are cyclical. We have them all the time. 50 years ago, there was a big tornado that hit Brisbane, same sort of thing. 50 years later, we have another one. Like, okay, so it isn't lasers and radars and all that sort of crap. It's just Mother Nature shaking itself and letting us know that we've got to be a little bit more cautious. Anyway, so I'm going to work on to another thing now, and it's a really interesting subject because it's not really relevant, really, but because I'm trying to find the definition of it, and it comes up with so many definitions, but it's really, really big in the world at the moment. I see a lot of YouTube videos about it, and it's porn. Right? Now, I can remember my dad having Playboy magazines, and that was porn. And then I think, you don't think you ever went there, but as you go through that mindset and you go, oh, we'll look at Hustler, which is a little bit more graphic than Playboy, but it was just pictures. I was about 17 and I went to a porn video session with a couple of mates in the house. And I was watching this porn and going, what is the attraction of seeing a man fucking a woman? Like, like, I don't see the attraction in that. And what's even worse than one of them was one woman taking on a whole football team. I'm going, like, what is the attraction in watching that? Like, I actually don't get that. I don't get the attraction of a man watching another man having sex with a woman. I think that's pretty stupid. Like, in a sick sort of a way, I can sort of understand from a man's perspective, and maybe even from a woman's perspective, a woman on a woman, maybe I can sort of get that a little bit. But I try to look at the definition of porn in the dictionary in the UFace Google thing, and it came up with so many definitions. It's like confusing shit. So one of the definition was a TV show or videos or pictures that elicit a response to a certain subject, like food porn, or in my case, it would be V8 supercar porn or martial art porn. So when I watch a V8 supercar race on TV, it elicits an emotional response in me that gets me excited. Not that way, you sick person, but it gets me on the edge of the chair. Like, I'm so wanted to see this. Like, this is awesome. I get so right there. And I know a lot of people do the same thing with football. So that's football porn, right? So I don't understand that we're losing the terminology. For me, generally speaking, porn is graphic videos of men and women doing men and women's things that should be kept private in places where they don't need to see it. Oh, sorry, Bond. No, just to answer your question, mate. We don't get tornadoes here, as I'm saying. The one in 50 years ago was the only other one I know hitting the city area in the Gold Coast area. So that's why it's so rare to see and why I respect Mother Nature. But anyway, back to porn. So I guess the OnlyFans thing is there, and that's, to me, that's porn, but is it voyeurism? Or I don't know. Is voyeurism where you just walk around with a woman walks around with a short skirt and no knickers and bends over so people can see? You know, that's being a little bit voyeur, or maybe that's an exhibitionist. Is that classed as porn if people watch it because it elicits some sort of emotional response, like food porn or V8 supercar porn? I think if you, and I don't know the story that well, but I'm sort of a little bit with it, the Sodom and Gomorrah story, where the end of a civilization of those townships in that area were, because this stuff became more accepted in the world than it ever was. Everyone out there making maybe $1,000 a month on OnlyFans because they can exploit their body and show their bits, and all sizes and shapes, because, you know, there are some people out there who like all sizes and shapes. But is that porn, or is that just, I don't know. Give me some information. Tell me what you think about it. I actually don't understand it. I don't see anywhere the attraction of seeing a man and a woman have sex. It's like, fuck, it just doesn't do it for me. Bringing that back down to the line of what you see on television now. In the 70s, we had a TV show here called Number 96, and there was another one called, that was about an apartment block of people, and they just living their life a little bit, I don't know, like Days of Our Lives, I guess, but it was an Australian version of it, and it was a nighttime show, because in that show, once or twice, Abigail, who in the day was an absolute goddess, did naked breasts, and I think once or twice did full frontal, and that was like so confrontational in the 70s, it was mind-blowing. And I think that happened in The Box as well, which was a TV show about a TV company or TV industry or channel, and it was all about the mindset behind there. And I think there was a little bit of that in there, but it was only a little bit. Like, it wasn't every show, it wasn't all the time. And then that was like right late. It was like 9 o'clock at night when all the kids were in bed. Now it's turned to, I guess, 50 years on. You're seeing stuff on general TV that when I was a kid would have been seen as medium to hardcore porn. Maybe not hardcore, maybe soft to medium porn, where full frontal women and men in explicit sex scenes that just, to me, is not appropriate for television. It's actually really boring in movies, you know. I remember seeing, might have been Gone with the Wind or movies from that generation, when you see a man and woman kiss, and all they would do is like press their lips together like that. Not really, maybe turn their head a little bit, but they just press their lips. And then it became open mouth kiss. And then it became full on French tongue kissing. And I thought, that's fucking gross. And, you know, I'm a man, I should think that's exciting, but it's just inappropriate. Like, there's a time and place for that sort of stuff. Then it started to go, you know, boobs. And you go, oh, okay, so boobs are fine because men are naked chested, so boobs are fine. But yeah, men's naked chest isn't maybe as sexually specific as women's chest. Well, not necessarily true, because I know a lot of women who really love a man's chest and look at a man's chest and just want to run their hand over the muscles and hair, fingers through the hairs and get turned on by it. Probably no different to a man looking at a woman's naked chest. So if men can be naked chest, well, fair enough. Let's just have women naked chest. But then it started to creep into full-on nudity and showing bums, which is not bad. Man's bum, woman's bum, that's fine. Share it, love. It's all over the place. Full frontal women, full frontal men, starting to draw the line a little bit now because nudity has a place, same as sex. And then you go, okay, now we're seeing a man and a woman fully passionate kissing, taking their clothes off each other on TV, right? This is not go to a dark cinema somewhere in King's Cross, but on full TV. And I'm going, you know, I'm bored. I don't want to see that shit. It does absolutely nothing for me. And a lot of people I think are feeling the same way. So I guess if you give me some idea of what you think about that, because I saw this thing on FaceTube book, one of those ones, I don't even know which one it was now, where there was a survey saying a lot of the kids between 13 and 25 who are watching this sort of stuff think it's not relative to the content of the show. And I bloody agree, hey, like 100%. I think seeing someone, you know, look at each other with this look on their eye, like, how about a baby? And they go, yeah. And the man stands up and holds a woman by the hand and walks somewhere, you know exactly what's going to happen. You don't need to see it. We don't need to see it. It allows us to put more content into the film. Maybe it's the writer's lazy way of, I've got no fucking idea what to put here. Let's put a sex scene in because everyone likes that. And I think it's lazy writing on the writer's behalfs to put a sex scene in. It's like, come on, guys. And when you see the sex scene, they go for like 5 minutes. Like, Christ, really? I don't need to see this. I just turn it off. And then the next part comes on and I miss it because it might have been important. Anyway, so that's it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't see the point. You know, if you and your wife want to be explicit somewhere, then you do that. That's fine. If you want to be a little risky and you want to do it and you can't, go for it. You know, if you want to, you know, if your wife wants to wear a short skirt and no knickers, that's fine. You know, that makes it for you and makes it for her, then that's great. You know, I think I draw the line at a man want to walk around with his schlong hanging out of his pants just because he wants to be, you know, that's a little bit ordinary. But, you know, I think you understand what I mean. There's a time and a place for all of this, and let's leave it in that time and place. The poor young men now live their life on, well, not all of them, some of them are smart, on OnlyFans, having an illusion about some sort of form of reality, and it just isn't. So anyway, moving on, because that's my whinge for the day. I have another one, and this is my New Year's challenge to all of you, which I'll leave that. I'll come back to that in a minute. So what I've got in my head is everyone's talking about having to learn how to be good and learn how to be a decent person and learn how to all of that sort of stuff. And the fact is we don't have to learn how to do any of that. I think the goal for us all is to remember that we are that. And I think when my daughter was born, I had a vision, a realization of what it is to be a pure being, an innocent being, a being of love and light. And that was a child first coming into the world. And it didn't take long for that to change. And that was the fears of the world and that sort of stuff. So I've been trying for that for like 26 years now, to remember what it is to be that. I don't have to learn to be that because I already am that. And I'm trying to get that through to people is they say, I've got to learn how to be a nicer person, or I've got to learn how to be decent and kind. And, I don't think they do have to learn anything like that. I learn now, and I need to learn how to be patient, or I need to learn how to not be bored, or I need to learn how to be whatever. I'm going, you don't have to learn that. You've got to remember that you aren't any of those things. That you are patient, you are tolerant, you are exciting to be around, and everything you do is exciting. So boredom's irrelevant. You're compassionate. You're all of these things that we think we have to learn in society today. We don't have to learn at all. We just got to remember we are that. We are knowledgeable. We are helpful. We are understanding and supportive. Let's remember that we are those things, and we can do all of that. And that, to me, is absolutely critical. So on that line, let's go back to this saying now that's around so often, and you hear it almost everywhere, except from really rich people and really successful people. And that's the saying, it is what it is. Now, I don't think I've ever heard a rich person who's just got himself another $1 million in his bank account go, yeah, it is what it is. Nor a successful person who's achieved some goal, they don't go, oh yeah, it is what it is. Those people appreciate and acknowledge the work that they do, and the consequence of the work that they do either brings them money or success or both or whatever it might be. A couple in a really wonderful relationship don't go to someone and say, it is what it is. People who are in successful mindsets don't say that. Right? The term "it is what it is, in my experience, and people around and me even who say it when something doesn't go their way. Right? When they go, I was bidding on a car and I didn't get it. No, it is what it is. Okay, well, yes, but that's a negative. That starts a negative mindset. So it is what it is negative. And if you start the negative mindset, then something happens and you go, it is what it is. And you keep saying it is what it is, and you enforce the negative mindset. So in anything that we do, we ultimately, we have the choice. And I've talked about this before. The choice of what happens in a situation is objective, and it's an objective truth. I didn't get the car. Oh, well, that's true. So I can go, oh, it is what it is, and be deflated, or I can take a different mindset. And the different mindset is the 2024 challenge to you. If you ever hear yourself say it is what it is, I'd like you to turn that around and go, well, we do what we do. So instead of saying it is what it is, say we do what we do. So in the example of I didn't get the car that I was bidding for, oh well, we do what we do, and you continue doing what you do. You don't go anywhere. You just go, we do what we do, and we do what we do. So I just had a comment from Bond is saying that I've lost video and sound, or it's freezing. I apologise. I'm going to keep this going and try and record it and upload it again anyway. But so it's not it is what it is, guys. We do what we do. Okay, so that's what I work on. So with that, saying that we're having audio and video problems, I'm going to end. But keep in mind that about 110 people are going to die today, and 270 people will be born. It's our responsibility to farewell the departing with honour and to welcome the arriving with peace. I'm going to start a new process in 2024 with a thought of the week. The first thought of the week is, be careful what you tell yourself, because a repeated unconscious thought today can become a habit tomorrow. On that note, enjoy your journey. Peace, love, and mung beans. May your 2024 be the best you can make it. Have an awesome celebration and an awesome 2024. Enjoy, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll do something about this next week, I hope.